Good morning, everyone. This is now the fourth video I'm going to try doing without it freezing. Hopefully it won't. I was going to bring on my little baby Valentino for you guys to see, but because this kept on freezing up, I put him aside. So let's try to get through this video and do this week's Cosmic Vibes series. High five. So before I begin, now I'm going live next on YouTube. Pay attention. Tuesday, the 10th of February at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to ask me a question, I'm clairvoyant, go ahead and ask me, but you have to tune into the video and watch. Join me on Instagram. My team puts information up there for you as well. So let's start off this week's energy. We are in the eclipse. I talked about that on last week's video. This is life changing. The eclipse brings things back to balance that was out of alignment. So when that happens, be prepared for the unexpected. Why is that, Jenny? Because things that are no longer moving forward in your future are going to end. The eclipse will step in and remove it. Oh my God. Yes, I hear you. That can happen. But if you've been going with the flow and doing things that need to be done, walking away from certain situations that, I no longer connect with this person or the relationship or the job or whatever it is you will see that the energy will work with you. You know, it's funny, this morning with the video, I'm like, what the heck? So it was just really a tune-up I had to do with something else. And I'm like, okay. So it was like that rude awakening. You see what I mean? So really pay attention. We also have the pre-Mercury retrograde coming in. Oh, dear Lord. On the 12th. I'll talk about that in a minute. So Mercury retrograde, pre-retrograde, shadow, and the eclipse. So now you're going to find that on the 7th and the 8th, as we enter this time, you're going to see things naturally coming together. You could see things flowing a lot better. But really, really pay attention to what's not. You know, it's like, don't be hard on yourself. You can always resolve situations. It's like, you know what, I got to fix this. I have to fix that and this. It just happened just as we started the eclipse. I had somebody reach out to me. Thank you, Paula. By the way, you know, I contacted my web guys, you know, so, and then I'm like, oh, and by the way, since we're on the phone, you know, I am putting classes together and such, and we had to go over a few other things, but it brought me to that. So when you see certain things coming up, deal with it, of importance especially, because that pre-shadow Mercury retrograde and Mercury retrograde, that's another rude awakening. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So now you're going to want to keep your heart open during this time because Venus energy is entering Uranus. It's always important to speak from your heart anyways. So pay attention to your past lessons, especially with relationships, you know, like relationships in general. You know, it could be business, it could be romance, anything more in general. Pay attention to that, you know, so you could see things more in sync, as I mentioned. So just be more in awareness, you know, and your dreams, write it down because when spirit and the eclipse has a message to say to you that's very profound, it could happen during this time. So write it down when you wake up, keep a notepad close by you. So now as we're entering the 9th and the 10th, what's happening on the 10th? Jenny's going live on YouTube. But besides that, Venus is entering Pisces. Pisces is very intuitive. So you could find your intuition is very strong or getting stronger. Again, Venus energy with relations. And so the goddess of love. Maybe some of you are going to get a new wardrobe that day, get your hair done, things like that. Your heart's going to expand more, but you're also going to see who you really connect with even more. If it's a soul tribe, if it's your partner, or if it's like, you know, I got to really speak my heart to my person. Always speak certain things and say certain things. Don't hold back. This is when misunderstandings happen. Whenever there's misunderstandings, the communication is off, things can end, problems arise, and so on. So now is the time, you guys. So you're going to feel your power even more. You're going to see your worth come back even more. So certain relationships, let's say that you're like, I sent this person a message, or, I went on a date with that person. They ghosted me. Like, oh my God, pay attention to that. So you could be doing more reflecting back on, recent connections. Look back to January 1st, let's say. What was happening in December? Did you connect with someone in December, for instance? Did they ghost you? Look at where things are now. But I want them to come back. Don't go chasing after people, you guys. Don't. Seriously. Allow things to naturally happen. But what if I don't hear from them? Then it's not your person, right? There is somebody out there for you. You have to hold that faith. And you can always book a reading with me, because I can give you a lot more insights into who your soulmate is. Very well could be a past life karmic connection for you as well. So there's reasons we have people from our past coming back from our past life, especially romantically. So I can give you more insights into that as well. So you very well could be having Valentine's Day more on your mind. You might find the 9th and the 10th actually could even be more of a romantic day. Romance. Your projects working on, your creativity could be more intense. Really pay attention to that. Oh gosh, maybe I need to work on this and that. Follow your passion. Really follow your passion, whatever it is you're passionate about. We all have different skill sets and talents and abilities and so on. Utilize that. That's why you're here. I mean, I could never be a mechanic. Oh, God, no. It took me years just to put gas in my car, for goodness sakes. So we all have different skill sets and abilities and talents and so on. Go for it. But just really watch what you're working on. Keep that to yourself. I have people ask me, Jenny, what are you working on? You work every day. And I'm like, I multitask a lot of different things. My clients are my priority, my number one priority, 100%. That's what I do. I do readings. I read people. So priority number one. And then I work on everything else on the side and so on and so on. So now we're coming close to the wrath of Pre-Mercury Retrograde, the 12th. Oh my goodness. 11th and the 12th of February. Gosh, we're getting like mid-February already. Oh my gosh. That's the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde, which that pre-shadow very well could be more intense than the actual retrograde when it starts. However, what is not working technically, electronically, if you need to get your car tuned up, certain things like that, get it done now. Pay attention to what's breaking down now. Get it fixed, get it resolved before the actual retrograde starts. Because electronics go in the whack, technical goes in the wax, and people go out and buy all new electronics during the retrograde because they're like, it didn't work. And I'm like, if you paid attention to it before, it could have needed just a little tune-up or something. So big purchases during the retrograde is a no-no. But we'll get into that as Mercury retrograde comes on. So this is the time to really set new goals for yourself. This eclipse season is so life-changing. It was preset before you were born. Look back into February 2008. If you can remember what was going on then, if it was something more major, if it was something like a huge ending, a death, a marriage, like whatever it is, something like that. There could be similar things right now as well. Just look back onto what you learned last from that time. I'm like, what was going on? And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. It's very similar. So I'm like, from that experience that I had way back in 2008, I'm like, isn't that interesting? Because that's kind of happening now. So I'm like, no. I'm totally handling that differently. It's exactly what I did. So, there comes a lot of growth from lessons. Lessons are never easy. They're painful, of course. Who wants to go through that? I don't. Nobody does. We've had enough. But as long as you're reflecting back on lessons learned, you can utilize your power, because as you start healing, your power comes back. So you will be more focused on getting things done right now, before the pre-shadow of the rude awakening comes in, as I call it. That eclipse, let me tell you, it comes in and it can remove things immediately. Like, oh, Lord. We give you 100 examples, but we're not even going to go there. So, you could be making, let's say, Valentine's Day plans. Valentine's Day is the 14th. There's, some people get really lonely on Valentine's, and I get that. I got my little dog now, right? My little Valentino. So he's sleeping, as I mentioned. He was in the previous videos earlier, but it just kept on freezing up. So, and I'm like, wow. So that's life. You have to go with the flow with that. So we have Saturn in Aries, February 13th, and it's also Friday the 13th. Now, Friday the 13th can be very superstitious. However, it's actually a very lucky day. It was way, way, way back in the Knights of Templar, and so on and so on and so on. But it's also a time to slow down. You could be feeling a little bit more vulnerable right now during this time, because you are still going to be going through healings, clearing. There's people coming back from your past right now. There has been with that eclipse. That eclipse brings people back from your past, and also Mercury retrograde. So the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde is bringing people back. So you're going to find you're going to be setting more stronger boundaries. You're going to be more disciplined even more. Maybe some of you are starting a health routine or a project or certain things. Like, I block out certain times for me. And honestly, it's been a blessing since I've gotten my puppy. Yes, it's a lot more work, of course, but it's actually pulled me away from nonstop being on social media and such. And I'm like, wow, I can actually sit back in the morning, have my coffee, play with my puppy and so on, take him out and all of these things. And I'm calmer. He's helping me heal. The 6th of February actually is, my last King Charles Cavalier Spaniel, Bella. That was her anniversary when she passed away in 2024. So I'm not going to go on about that. I light a candle every night for her. And I'm going to be doing a little thing for her on Valentino's account. My new baby, he's on Instagram, Valentino 2026 888. So you can follow him on Instagram. So I'm going to be doing a little tribute to Bella on there, so you can catch that. So you're going to see that you will have more courage on the 13th as well. So whatever it is that you're like, I'm struggling here, you will have more courage to step forward with that, and really pay attention to new opportunities that are coming through for you. That eclipse can bring life-changing opportunities for you. I actually had one last year at this time. I had to turn down a major, major television deal myself. And they were actually going to move me to the location out in BC I was going to move to. Everything. I had the world right there in front of me, offered everything. And then I ended up getting skin cancer and so on. So, of course, not the right timing. I had to deal with my health and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? So when new opportunities come in, they can be really big during the eclipse season. So pay attention to the pros and the cons and be realistic as well. Always do what feels right is for you. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. So you might even find that you're going to be decluttering a little bit more during this time. You could be decluttering your home, your vehicle, your office space, donating things, giving things away. Maybe you're redecorating a little bit, because your intuition is going to be stronger. And the eclipse brings truth. More truth is exposed. You know, we've seen that in the world anyways. What's not shocking anymore? Nothing. Is it a surprise? It can be really disturbing, but it's not, because a lot of things are coming forth, and especially during the eclipse, a lot of truth is getting shown. So especially pay attention in your personal life, truth, you know, and that can be with anything that you're struggling with, or, you know, maybe your partner, I want a divorce, maybe, you know, like whatever. I'm not going to go on about things, but you'll know what it is for you. So just really pay attention during this time, you know, what needs to change. Oh, but Jenny, I'm not getting along with my partner. Talk to your person. Talk to your person, work things out. Miscommunication can really cause so many delays in relationships and stuff like that, to endings. You know, communication is number one with a relationship. If we let things fester up and keep building, as I always say, the volcano will burst. It will eventually, holy smokes, the lava came out, of course, because it couldn't handle it any longer, couldn't handle it. So the eclipse brings solar flares. So you could see more eruptions with volcanoes and earthquakes and such, because solar flares, you know, it does bring solar storms, like crazy weather. I mean, even where I am here in Canada, like, it's warmer. I mean, February here, I mean, I have my screen doors open, and I have a set of shorts on and a t-shirt. Some people might find it really cold, but I'm not. It's just like, oh my God, it's not minus 100 right now. So, you know, enjoy it and pay attention to it. But really, really pay attention, you guys. The eclipse is life-changing. You know, it was pre-written, as I mentioned, before you were born. So what happens during this eclipse can be very life-shattering. You know, that pre-shadow, Mercury retrograde on top of it. I'm just saying, I wasn't happy this morning when Zoom kept on freezing up. Oh my God. I was using two laptops. What the hell is going on? Unplugging this, and oh my Lord. But thank goodness it's working. So hopefully I can get through the rest of the video. So I might keep it a little short. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards and see what's coming in. I don't use cards. I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium. I do past life Akashic records. See what's going on. Past life readings really show you and help you understand why things are happening now with relationships, your journey, and so much more. I actually did a past life reading with a client of mine who's been with me for many years, Thomas, on YouTube here. So you can go back and scroll over that. You can watch my predictions video for 2026. A lot of it's happened already and is happening. So, but anyways, let's have a little chat with the cards. Not everybody's going to connect with the cards. They're going to be like, well, of course not. These cards are not for millions of people or whoever watches this, right? Imagine if I had 1 million viewers. I'd have to do something pretty drastic. So I try to keep it pretty clean. I don't want my channel to come down. Let's say. So let's have a little chat with the portal of oracles. Let's just see what the message is from the 7th to the 13th. How many of you guys are doing something for Valentine's Day? How many of you guys are doing that? You know, you're really going to face what's uncomfortable this week. Like, you really, really are. And walk through it. Really walk through it. When you face your fears, it will liberate you and it'll be done and over with. You know, I'm just saying, really face it, because if you don't, hopefully shit can hit the fan pretty hard. So now the 7th to the 13th, I have my little Valentine with me, my Valentino. That's my Valentine. You know, they don't have to have a partner. Buy yourself some flowers, my goodness sakes. Take yourself out for dinner. Buy yourself something. You don't need a person to feel special. Start loving yourself unconditionally, for goodness sakes. You know? So, oh, wow. Now, the cards don't lie. The card that fell out is trust. Trust the process 100%. This eclipse, no matter what happens, no matter who it removes or what ends, You have to trust it. The eclipse wants to move things back into balance for you that were completely out of whack. You know, there could be people that somebody that's been sick for quite some time, let's say, and they pass during the eclipse because the universe is like, you know, it's your time now. So that can happen. You know, lots of things can happen during the eclipse. So no matter what happens, just trust it. Just really trust it. But listen to your intuition as well. Like, seriously, like when I had to make that decision at the last minute, boom, just like that, it was just, they're like, you know, Jenny, and I'm like, you know what, just do that now. Let's get on this right now. I've been procrastinating this for a while now with that. Now is the perfect time. It felt really good. Go ahead. You have my permission. You know, I hire people for certain things. So, and that's one of the things that has to get done. So here we are. Trust the process. Look at how she's jumping off the cliff. And oh, it's Valentine's Day too. It's Goddess of Love. Look at how this person, it's almost like she's jumping into his arms. You know, the lighting's pretty bad. I didn't put my normal stuff up because I didn't know if the video would freeze. I didn't even wear my jewelry or anything. I do have jewelry on, but because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm not going to get all set up. And so I'm just like, just go as is. Go as is, for God's sakes. So let's have a little chat with the animals, shall we? What's their message to you? I'm also an animal communicator. I speak to your animals when they passed and also when they're still alive. I was actually talking to my little puppy before I even picked him up. You know, I picked him out right away. My mom came in a dream and showed me exactly what to look for. Boom, I saw it instantaneously. It stood out. That's the one I want. Do you want to come up and see him? Nope. I'll come get him whenever he's ready to go. And boom, right away. So we have to trust that. So I was communicating with him before I picked him up. And when I did, I'd say, you know, can you take a picture of him? And sure enough, all the rest of the pack were sleeping, but he was wide. He was looking. His eyes were up. I have photos. It's so cool. So what's the message from our animals from the 7th to the 13th? What is the message from the 7th to the 13th? What's the message from our animals from the 7th to the 13th? Elephant. Lord Ganesh helps the remover of obstacles. What a perfect time. I needed that this morning. The elephant, also leadership. You know, Lord Ganesh helps the remover of obstacles. I have a huge statue of Ganesh. I have a few of them, but even when I bought that statue, it was a few years ago. I'm like, how am I going to pick that up and bring that to my vehicle? I had to get a wagon. He's very heavy. It's actually right behind me. I had to move him because I had to make space for my little puppy. So, leadership. Be your own leader. This energy is going to work with you. Like we're entering the new year on the 17th of the year of the fire horse. You know, this is life-changing. This is life-changing. Year of the fire horse. We're in the eclipse at the same time. Oh my God. That's what I'm saying. Be prepared. Really be prepared. Incoming messages can happen at any given second. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But keep your mind positive. Know that whatever messages you get is for your higher self. Trust it. Don't run. Don't run away from it. Whatever you run away from, it follows. I will follow him. Wherever he may go. I'm not a singer. Yes, I used to be in a band once upon a time ago, many moons ago. That's a whole different story. Big story. So let's have a little chat with the mermaids and dolphins. I felt the need to pull these certain decks. I go by what spirit pulls me towards. 7 to the 13th, what's the message? Tranquility. Oh, yes. You have to make sure, you know how I said set boundaries? Boundaries is going to be a really big thing right now during the eclipse and actually this full year. You have to have self-care and self-love. You know, take time out for you. Maybe, you know, have a bath, maybe have a nap, have a rest, because these energies can really knock you down. All of a sudden you could be so like full of energy, and then, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Like during that full moon that I talked about on the first and the second, sleep was really light. So some of you could have been waking up a lot earlier, like I was. And then I actually had 12 hours sleep, and I'm like, that never happens. And my puppy never wakes up during the night. Like, I've never had that. Puppies normally wake up a couple of times. He never has. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, is he still breathing? Like, oh, there he is. He's like, hey. So, but when you have time for yourself, relax, take time out for you, no matter what it is you're doing. Go for a walk. Maybe you just want to get some stuff done around the house. Treat yourself to a spa day. Like whatever it is. Think of you. So I'm going to end the video because I don't want it to freeze up. So how many of you are tuning in right here on YouTube on the 10th on Tuesday, 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific to join me for a free psychic clairvoyant reading? You can ask me a question. It's like a Valentine's Day. Or if you want to book a very, very detailed reading, soulworkwithjenny.com. Follow me on Instagram, Jenny Cousins, and I'll follow you right back. And you can follow my little baby Valentino as well. Namaste.